And now at the prize podium, we now have the men's wide Master 1 division minus 88.3 kilograms completed. And on third place, we have Brett Richard from Naka Dojo. On second place, Oscar Elofsson from Crazy Bad. And on first place, Krzysztof Petrovski from Söderström Grappling.
Ajmo prolazi umora, ne prolazi. Uhvatimo na valje do svanjske strane. Ustavi, pristi na dole. Razbjegni. Pristi ga. Samran, vänd in i honom. Inte andra, bland bort benet, ja.
Vända axlarna, vända nacken, please come to the wing area. Julia Mäle, please come to the wing area. Martin Lindblad, please come to the recording area.
At the prize podium, we now have the men minus 100 white Master 1 division completed. And on third place, we have Marcus Nylander from Mariefred. On second place, Daniel Ekman from Team Lake Stockholm.
On the TV mat now, ongoing final between Max Lindblad, Tommy Langaker. Give it up!
And on first place, Johannes Amuro from Fit for Fight Gym.
Henrik Edström, please come to recording area. Marcus Olofsson, please come to recording area.
At the prize podium, we now have the women white minus 58.5 adult division completed. And on third place, Lilian Karlsson from Yamasaki, Göteborg. On second place, Natalie Jabak from Frontline Academy, Oslo. And on first place, Anna Berg from Linköpings Bibelklubb.
How about that fight?
Man, it was a great fight.
Can we talk about that fight a bit and discuss it? You know, it's Tommy here was the winner last year, and he and Max, they were fighting 2 times today.
Yeah.
I mean, and actually, I mean, of course, Max was really trying to get that.
Yeah, one thing I always wonder is like, because Max's guard is amazing, but you never see him during the match. He always lets Tommy pull guard. So I always wonder if the matches might go a little bit different for him if he pulled guard first. Just because of at minimum, if Tommy pulls, then if he goes on top, he gets the advantage and starts the match up an advantage. But it seems like I always see the match with Max on top, and I'd like to see what would happen if Max was on bottom as well. Tommy, I guess probably Ahmad was talking about it. Tommy's been kind of, here's the match here, was playing a bit of a new guard. It's Lucas Lech uses it a lot. It's like a half guard where you reach around the back and grab the hip. And he was using that a lot to set up his back takes, and then also some of the matrix setups they use, or the keymaster guard as they call it.
So if you look at Max's game, because you've seen him a lot of times, and you've seen also Tommy, I reckon, now. So what's the difference in the game?
I mean, well, one is that Tommy and Espen, his training partner in Norway, their games, like, they're very well rounded as well, but they're very specifically focused on winning the match from bottom. So they have a lot of, like, there's this big thing in Jiu-Jitsu where if you sweep someone, you get 2 points, but if they sweep you back, they get 2. So then you have this kind of teeter-totter sweeping thing. So, but if you can submit someone when you're on bottom, then the sweep doesn't matter. Like, if you go on top and they sweep you, you're down 2, but then you submit them, you win the match, right? So Tommy has this ability to constantly find ways to win the match when he's on bottom, either a submission or a back take with like the bolos and the crab rides. So they have so many weapons when they're on bottom to win the match. So it's the kind of thing where like maybe if Tommy went on top in the beginning of the match, Max might sweep him, but then still you have to survive the rest of the match with Tommy on bottom, which is really difficult.
And the level of this fighting, I mean, Tommy's and both Max are...
Both of them are world-class competitors. Tommy took second at Worlds this year, and then Max has fought him many times. And like honestly, if you look at like Max's performance versus him, as well as Alex fights versus him last year, they did a lot better than
There's
a
an
lot
example
of
here where Tommy takes him down, and you have Max on top.
Yeah, so Max is looking in that position where Tommy's sitting up. He's looking for like the quick pass where you step around with the shin, and it is a really good pass. But the thing is, when you're fighting someone who has such high level guard retention and flexibility, and like, I'm the same way, I have like very flexible legs, it's hard to jump past like that. So it's just hard to finish a pass on someone with such good guard retention.
I mean, this is like how the fight looked all the time, I reckon. I mean Max trying to pass.
Yeah, he's trying to pass, and like the way I try to look at matches is it's just a combination of many positions, and in each position the game changes a little bit. So like if you're in closed guard, you have to worry about collar chokes and arm bars. If you're in the single leg guard, you have to worry about single legs and back takes.
Yeah.
So it just kind of changes as the match goes.
Would you say that, I mean, in this case, because this, as we said before, this is much how the fight looked, this was a pretty hard position for Max, just having Tommy hanging on him, you know?
Yeah.
But could you give any sort of advice, or what should Max have done different to win this fight?
I mean, it's hard to say. I don't want to like armchair quarterback. I don't know if you guys have that expression.
Yeah.
I don't want to like armchair quarterback. I guess a couple trends I feel like maybe I would consider would be the guard, trying to guard pull first. I feel like at least getting the advantage from the double guard pull would help set the pace of the match maybe. But I don't know, maybe he feels different after rolling with him multiple times. Another one I would say is maybe like the one-arm throws with his flexibility level seem pretty hard because he reloops the other leg. And I feel like doing a Toreando, like controlling both legs and trying to Toreando that way, may be easier. Again, that's not saying to say that like, oh, that's how you should do it. No. Just that I think that whenever you are fighting someone that flexible, if you see, I don't know if you have a clip of it where he'll do like a one-arm throw where he throws the leg and Tommy's other leg just spins back over top. You'll see that as a constant theme. And when you control both legs, it can be tricky to get the grips. But if you can control both legs, you don't have to worry about that other leg coming over top because you're controlling it, right? But again, that, you know, I know it's very different when you're fighting. And also the pants can be difficult. So sometimes people's pants will ride up their knees. So then it's harder. Yeah, they become shorter because they're baggy sometimes. They ride up. And then it becomes harder to control the legs. If you see Tommy's like right leg there, you see how the pants are closer to the knee than they are near the ankle, and that can make it different as well.
We have the wrong scorecard here, but you can see this is like probably in the end of the fight.
Yeah, I think the final score was 2-0.
Yeah. Fighting the same fighter during one day. I mean, how do you...
Say that again?
Fighting the same fighter the same day?
Like twice in the same day?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it just depends on who the guys... Oh, my guy's about to fight here. It depends on who the guys fighting are. Because sometimes, like, you can make a strategic change where you're like, oh, he likes to play this position, I'm going to avoid it. But with Tommy or like guys on that level, he has so many weapons in his arsenal, it's just really hard to avoid having to get out of those positions. You can't avoid his game. You have to know how to go through it.
In the black belt final, Max had Tommy in the back choke. It was really close that he got him, you know.
Man, that was close. I thought he was going to have his day.
So I mean, I'm thinking in that, I mean, this is just, of course, a scenario. If Max would have won that fight, if Tommy would have fought different in this fight, I don't know.
I don't think so. I mean, I think like at that level, those guys have such knowledge of their game that like that was just like a scramble that didn't go Tommy's way, and I don't think Tommy would have necessarily needed to change a lot. I think his game was working perfect. I just think that you know, he just lost the scramble, and better luck next time.